to the Breakfast Club, bitches.
All right, Charlamagne, please tell me, why was I your donkey of the day?
I laugh every morning at I'm also proud my wife is white. Literally. Donkey of the day for Wednesday, October 26th goes to a North Carolina sheriff named Jody Greene. Jody Greene was forced to resign Monday after officials unearthed a damning phone call of the elected official spouting racist and vulgar language. I love when media outlets use words like unearthed. You know damn well someone sent y'all that, but I digress. Now, what was the racist and vulgar language used that got former Sheriff Jody Greene up out of here? Let's go to NBC News 6 for the report, please.
Every black that I know, you need to find him to start with. He's a snake.
On one end of the phone is current Columbus County Sheriff Jody Greene. On the other end is Jason Souls, the man who previously served as interim sheriff while officials settled a dispute over the 2018 election. We should warn you, there is some graphic language in this call. Sheriff Greene says, quote, he is sick of these black bastards and that every black he knows needs to be fired.
Jeez. If I had to fire every motherfucker out there, guess what? I'm tired of being they ain't happening no more. No God.
That's the voice of Columbus County Sheriff Jody Greene. He won his seat by 34 votes in an election that was so highly contested he'd been temporarily removed from office while officials settled the election disputes. That was the setting the night Greene called acting Sheriff Jason Souls, saying their office had a snitch.
He made the comment that he hated Democrats, and then he said, I take that back, I hate a black Democrat. And I knew right at the end, I was like, wow, this is coming from the sheriff, and I had to start recording those conversations.
Jody Greene said he was going to clean house of the black bastards, the black snakes. What's interesting about statements like that is the only thing needed to clean that house was to get rid of the racist, Jody Greene. Jody Greene is indeed the trash that needed to be taken out. It really has to suck to be a racist because since you already have your mind made up that you don't like a certain group of people, you miss out on great energy, okay? Imagine thinking you have to clean house just because you don't like blackness. You're probably getting rid of some of your best officers, you know, just because they are black. And not to mention, Jody was afraid that some of the employees were undermining his authority. No, it's just the guilt of you being a racist was tearing your ass up. Okay, it's like when you cheating on your significant other and you feel guilty, so you start thinking they cheating too, and you got the nerve to accuse them of doing dirt, cheating on you when it's actually just you. That's what this sheriff was doing. All right, thinking folks was undermining his authority. No, bruh, they was just on to you. Let's listen to some of this pale pigmented paranoia.
Former Sheriff Lewis Hatcher was the first African-American ever to serve as sheriff in Columbus County. Greene says on the call he's specifically concerned that people in his office are leaking information to Hatcher and Melvin Campbell, another African-American officer Greene fired shortly after taking office.
It's stopping. Tomorrow's going to be a new day. I'm still the sheriff, and when I'll go up there and fire my goddamn black bastards. They think I'm scared. That's stupid.
It gets worse. After the sheriff explains that he's getting phone records from Verizon to trace anyone in his office who's called Campbell or Hatcher, he lets Souls know the plan.
We got the snake's head off. Period. And Melvin Campbell's the biggest snake as Lewis Hatcher ever dared to be. Every black that I know, you need to find him to start with. He's a snake.
Now, Jody resigned to avoid ordeal and spectacle of a long trial. The reality is he probably resigned before he got fired so he can get his pension, but I don't know anything about that. The reason I'm telling this story is because he probably wouldn't have even resigned if there wasn't a collective effort by black officers to get him removed. There was a 54-page petition calling for Greene's removal, and the phone call, as well as a lot of other transgressions, were detailed in this position. According to the petition, numerous individuals disclosed the concern about the sheriff and his agents engaging in intimidation and abusing authority. In fact, the Columbus County DA, John David, has been trying to remove Jody Greene from office since October 4th when the first petition for removal was filed against the sheriff. Keyword first. So it was more than one petition. Why am I telling y'all that this morning? Because I need y'all to know that power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has and it never will. That is a quote from one of our ancestors, Frederick Douglass. See, the past 24 hours, I've watched people say, well, how come none of these corporations didn't drop Kanye West when he said slavery was a choice, or when he wore the hate slogan, White Lives Matter, on his shirt, or when he lied about how George Floyd died? That last one, I don't think is a reason for a corporation to want to fire him. I think the consequences of that are a lawsuit, which he received. But the others, well, those corporations didn't really care because you didn't make them care. Yes, black people, I'm talking to you. If you want someone held accountable for something, then there has to be an organized, concerted effort from you and others like you to hold them accountable. Not only did the Jewish community have petitions, they had high-ranking executives and agents writing op-eds and releasing public statements to businesses demanding that Kanye West gets held accountable, demanding that people stop doing business with them. Just like in North Carolina, they had petitions and they were demanding that this sheriff gets removed. The North Carolina NAACP submitted a letter to the U.S. Department of Justice detailing requests for additional consequences to happen to this former sheriff. Just like the Anti-Defamation League wrote letters to Adidas demanding Adidas stop doing business with Kanye. You have to push for things to happen because these corporations, institutions only gonna care as much as we, the people, do. Whether it's the people on the inside of the corporation pushing for accountability or it's people on the outside pushing for accountability, power will never concede anything without a demand. Whether it's Adidas saying we are going to put this deal under review or a sheriff's office saying we are investigating the matter. When corporations and institutions say stuff like that, all they're saying is, let's see what the backlash is going to be. When they don't see an organized, collective effort demanding any type of accountability, they keep it moving. Business as usual. This sheriff wouldn't have even resigned if there wasn't petitions, organizations like the North Carolina NAACP, and officers on the inside demanding that he get let go. It's just that simple. Why? Because power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has, and it never will. Find out just what a people will submit to, and you have found out the exact amount of injustice and wrong which will be imposed upon them. And these will continue till they are resisted with either words or blows or with both. Frederick Douglass, ladies and gentlemen. I salute those brothers and sisters in North Carolina who made sure their demands were heard and made power concede because of it. Please let Chelsea Handler give former Sheriff Jody Greene the biggest hee-haw.
Hee-haw, hee-haw. That is way too much Dan mayonnaise.
All right. Well, thank you for that, donkey.
Kathy Griffin don't want none?
Please give this giant jar of mayo the biggest hee-haw.
What about Chris Rock? Chris Rock ain't got nothing to
Cracker
say.
ass, cracker.
Oh, okay, Chris. What about my girl? Oh, and she could be the new sheriff of North Carolina as well. I don't know if she's still working in that fast food place, but she can be the new sheriff of North Carolina. Okay, the new sheriff in North Carolina. All right?
All right.
Okay.
Donkey Today is brought to you by the law office of Michael S. Lamonsoff. Don't be a donkey. Dial pound 250 on your cell and say the bull if you've been hurt in a construction accident. That's pound 250 from your cell and say the bull.